Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. As always, my name is Josh Lillquist. In the last segment, we covered a few different topics on supply and demand. We talked about Chipotle with that tremendous 50-1 stock split, and also the different news things that people are seeing out there and why we do not react off the news or place our decisions in the markets based off the news, base them off the facts with odds and probabilities, which comes into a strategy, which is step by step to bring those odds in your favor. That's how you minimize your risk in the financial markets, and that's what it's all about, Al. And we had a lot of people texting in for that free investing class that we do right here at the Academy and in a city near you. If you missed that and you want to come into a free investing class, these are 2-hour classes to learn more about the financial markets, what the strategies are for income, what the strategies are for retirement, what the strategies are for whatever that you're looking for with the financial markets. That's what we cover in these investing classes. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210, and that's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. That's text the word investing to the number 210-210, one for you and one for a friend. Also, we do appreciate our subscribers on the podcast, our global podcast on the financial markets, Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Now, Al, in that last segment, you did mention, and I tried to cut you off there and stop you before you let the cat out of the bag, and you were talking about that you're told to go into stocks all the time. Mm-hmm. You see that on TV. All the money managers are putting people in stocks, or what's even worse yet, mutual funds. And you mentioned there are other opportunities with different assets in the market. Now, some of our listeners, if they've listened for a long time, may know we talk a lot about the futures market, the Forex market, and the options market. Now, there's a couple of them that really, I guess all three of those are geared towards the income side of things, but there's a few different reasons why it may be advantageous for a regular person to explore what these opportunities are, because they may be able to be more efficient with their time, their schedule, their capital. Why don't you discuss that and talk about some of the opportunities that you have when you trade a futures market, a Forex market, or even an options market?
Well, start out with one of the reasons that they're so important as far as being able to generate income. I mentioned in that I think it was the last segment, I said...
Feels like so long ago, doesn't it?
The quote from Peter Lynch, where he said that, if you're going to be needing your money in 1 or 2 years, you shouldn't be buying stocks, which then begs the question, well, what do I do if I need money in 1 or 2 years? We know that things have changed in this country because of inflation. The cost of living has gone through the roof. And even people that are... here's an article that was in MoneyWise. A third of Americans earning $150,000 a year or more say they're living paycheck to paycheck, and many rely on credit cards to close the gap. So that 1 or 2 years that you shouldn't be in the market, do you just sit back then and not do anything? Do you put your money in a checking account or savings account, or even now with some of the money markets paying around 5%, when you take away the impact of inflation, that doesn't leave you a lot. So what do you do? How do you generate income that's enough income for you to be able to use it to maybe elevate your lifestyle, or at least maintain your lifestyle, or have a little extra left over so you can put something in retirement? Mm-hmm. What it means, if you need your money within that 1 or 2 year period, or even shorter, it has to be something that you feel comfortable that you can not only get into but get out of with a high profit potential.
Yeah, I want you to explain some of those assets here in a second, but you just made me think of something. You remember back in the 90s, those commercials? And I forget what it was, but it was, "It's my money and I need it now."
Is it something Wentworth, J.G. Wentworth?
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but that's kind of what it's like. If you need your money, you don't want to be waiting 20, 30 years for it. You want it now.
Right. And what we often say, Josh, you know what we call a bad short-term trade?
What's that?
A long-term investment.
And that's what it is, yeah.
That's right. I'll hold on to it. If I hold on to it for another 10 or 15 years, it'll come back.
Matter of fact, there was a guy that I knew a while back, and he was in a stock, and he's like, "Yeah, earnings are going to come in, and they're going to be really good earnings, and it's going to go up, and I'm going to be able to get out, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of money." Well, earnings came in. Who knows what the earnings did. Stock went down and down and down. It was like a penny stock. And now it's a long-term investment, like you're saying.
Right.
And he's hoping for it to come back, probably still holding it.
And even stocks that beat earnings don't always go up in value. there may have been so much anticipation of that company beating earnings that the stock prices was already run up before the earnings came out.
Yep.
So,
I kind of got you off topic there. Why don't you get into what the futures market is and some of the opportunities people have?
yeah, all these markets that we're talking about, the futures market, the forex market, the options market, they have leverage, which means you can have a small amount of money, and that's obviously relative. But let's just say you have $1, and your dollar can control something worth $10 or $20 or $50. Isn't that maximizing the value, the productivity of that dollar? That's what you can do with these leveraged assets. It's very much like having a mortgage where you have a fraction of the cost of your home that comes out of your pocket, but then you control something worth much more. So that's kind of what leverage is. You can use it in the financial markets. We talk about Forex and futures a lot because those are great assets for people that either have a small amount of money to use in their investments or their trades, or people that maybe have a lot of money, maybe in retirement, you're getting up in age and you're a little concerned about putting money in that long-term asset, the stock market. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can take a very small part of what you have and then look at one of these leveraged assets.
Yeah, I think, and you've probably seen this as well. We've seen a lot of people at the Academy probably in their late 50s into mid to later 60s, and they're getting into the futures market because when they retire, their job stops. So they want to be able to have that income strategy while they're retired. It's a great opportunity to use or maximize a smaller amount of capital.
Right, and also have the opportunity to have that potential profit appreciation immediately or very short term. So futures, what are we talking about? We're talking about investing in the major stock markets, all of the major U.S. stock markets, the global stock markets, so you still can participate in that asset. Commodities. I think a lot of people have become more aware of commodities over the last few years. We've seen some huge moves in things like lumber. Cocoa. Cocoa just hit a high. I think it pulled back a little bit, but that's a commodity. Sugar is a commodity. Soybeans are commodities. Farmers use these futures contracts all the time for their crops. Airlines use them for making sure they know what they're going to pay for fuel. So you can do futures contracts on oil. You can do them on gold and silver, precious metals. You can do them on currencies, interest rates, even a number of different things.
You've forgotten one, Al.
Lean hogs.
Thank you very much.
As far as we know, a skinny pig.
Well, just to kind of clarify, you were mentioning the different things farmers use. Corn actually had an opportunity or a move of 50% over the past year and a half. That's a big move. That's a huge opportunity.
Right. And even though, like in airlines, they might be looking at what their fuel is going to cost them over the course of a year or so, but those markets move very quickly. So you can, as call us a speculator in that market, we can get into and out of it short term with profits that are very attractive with a small amount of money that you actually have to have in an account.
It's basically like a good faith deposit. So you're not using your whole capital. It's a good faith deposit. They just tie it up is all they do.
Right, and we go into explanations on that. We show you exactly how to use these markets, how to make sure that not only do you have an opportunity of being successful with it, but also that you make sure you use the proper risk management.
You kind of hit the nail on the head there. You said show you. We can talk about all this on the radio waves and on the podcast. I mean, thousands and thousands of listeners all across the metro and globally with the podcast. But it's hard to build a skill off hearing something.
Right.
Us as adults, because we are visual learners and hands-on learners, that's really why the Academy exists. That's why we have investing classes. That's why we have, different things here at the Academy, and we show you all that in this investing class. I mean, it's a physical place to go. We're an academy. We have a state-of-the-art facility right here in Bloomington. Actually, there's several locations all across the U.S., Dubai as well, in many different countries. So, because that's how us as adults learn. It's actually face-to-face, in person. So with these investing classes, they are 2 hours long, and this will introduce you to a lot of things that we're talking about. We're going to be able to show you the futures market, as Al was alluding to, show you the strategies that use less capital. I mean, we can tell you about it, but if we're able to show you, imagine how that might impact your life, being able to be more efficient with your capital. So say you are in your 50s and 60s and you've retired, but you still need an income strategy to bridge a gap or overcome something, or maybe it's just to have some more fun. That might be an opportunity for you. So come into one of these investing classes to be introduced to these different assets, the futures market. We'll probably get into the Forex market and the options market on the next segment, so stay tuned for that. But simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for an investing class right here at the Academy or in a city near you. Just click the link that you get right back from that text. When you do that, you'll find your own date and time for this investing class. Text investing to the number 210-210. Al, we got a big section coming up here. I want to talk a little bit about living for Friday or living for today. So many Americans are living for Friday, and people struggle with doing things differently and financially being secure. Let's talk about that coming up next. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.